Shaking off that I haven't been on YouTube in a while. Jitters. It's just a coffee, honestly. Hi YouTube friends. Hello. How are ya? It's your girl, Sarah. It's been a while. It's been a while, and I'm just gonna get right into it, and somewhere on this screen there will be the time so you can jump into my story time for today. But if you guys are interested in knowing some of the background on where the F I've been, please stick around and I will let you know. I'll get you in on the info. I've been gone a while, and I've been hinting that off since like right after Christmas, around my what I got for Christmas video. Every single video I've been hinting it off, like things were just changing, things were happening. That's why I didn't tell you guys I was gonna really come back at the beginning of the year with videos. I did like one video, I think, and that was basically it, right? I don't know. So here I am. I have finally been able to get around to YouTube and fit into it. So, okay, I'm going to tell you 2 important facts. I'm not going to really get into everything because I don't want to. I don't really want to make a whole video about it. I don't really want to get into it. There's just so many things that happened while I was away. One of them, I will tell you, is because I moved. New setting, new location. Yeah, that happens a lot to me. So it just happens. It's life. I'm a human being who moves. Yeah, that was one of the things which is a part of this video in a way. I felt like you guys needed to know that because this video is about the last place I lived at. And another thing that happened was I was just starting to fulfill my goals for 2018. So if I was going to start off 2018, I was going to actually do my New Year's goals, and I am so happy that I have accomplished several of them now. The biggest ones were eating right, fitness. I went right back into that, and I'm really happy because I've been really on my fitness thing lately, and maybe I'll do another video for that. Another one was to get a job, and I got a job, so that's probably the main factor that I'm working around my YouTube schedule. And it is just so nice to have a job again. I'm so freaking happy. And YouTube is my hobby. Clearly, if you look at my numbers, I don't make money off of it. It's just something I do on the side, and I needed to separate my hobbies from my reality, and I needed to get in touch with my reality. A girl needs to support herself and make her money, and I am doing that now. So I can't wait to be able to afford better lighting so we don't have to use the damn sun and time when the hell I record, and hopefully a new camera because I really want a camera and not use my webcam. If you guys didn't know, I am using my webcam. That has been going on. Speaking of numbers in YouTube, I hit my first 1K while I was away a couple days ago. Yeah, and thank you guys for watching. That was another small goal, was because I saw the numbers rising, and I was like, well, you know what, I'm gonna put a reachable goal and say hopefully in 2018 I hit my first 1K on a video, and I did. And I know it's nothing like, oh my god, wow, but for me it is. It's a small minor goal that I put, and it happened. So thank you for watching that. I really appreciate you guys watching any of my videos. And yeah, so anyways, with the updates let's get into what you guys came here for. Okay, so I mentioned I moved, and a lot of my most recent videos, except for the last one, were at my apartment. And this video is unrelated to why we moved, but I really wanted to tell you guys what was going on. And to me, it felt weird to tell you guys what was going on there while I was living there. And you'll understand why in a second. The very first time me and DJ were going to move in there, well, the very first time we looked at the place before we moved in there, I felt it. I already knew. Like, that atmosphere was not cleansed. There was definitely something there, but the reason we moved in there was because it wasn't anything threatening. So, yeah, but I definitely, like, I feel when you walk in somewhere, you can definitely feel the atmosphere if anything else so happens to reside there. I can feel that. So I did. The very first day we checked it out, I was like, yeah, something's here, but I like it, and we're gonna come in here because it's not really threatening. I know threatening. If you've ever seen any of my other paranormal story times, you know I know threatening spiritual atmospheres. One of the very first things that occurred was, this was weeks into living there, and me and DJ were going to bed, and I was the last one to go to the bedroom. So I was getting something from the kitchen, I believe, or the living room, somewhere there, and he had already gone into the room to go to bed, and I was in there, and I was like, okay, lights. You know how when you're about to go to bed and you lock the doors, you turn off the lights, and I was like, I made a distinct memory. I was like, okay, check, alright. So I went to bed, and I forgot what we had forgotten, because I went into the room and me and him were like, oh yeah, we need to get this or do whatever. So DJ quickly got up to go get whatever it is we forgot, and he went to the kitchen, and I went right behind him. I was like, oh yeah, like, I don't know, I just went right behind him to go get it with him or something, because I wasn't in bed yet. I was still standing. Like, this was directly right after I came from the kitchen. So I was like right behind him. He went out, and then I went out, and as he is going in and I am right behind him, I look and I'm like, what? The lights are on? Like, what? Like, I was tripping out. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Yeah, it was just so weird. And then he tells me as he's walking more in there, he's like, why didn't you turn off the lights? I'm like, no, I turned off the lights. I swear I did. And he's like, well, they're on. I'm like, yeah, clearly, but I turned off the lights. I swear. I even made a mental note. Like, I made the mental note to, you know, make sure everything was off. Like, I wouldn't just go to bed knowing the lights were on. Like, I'm very conservative with energy, so I make sure of that stuff all the time anyways. So, yeah, that was the first thing that had happened that really tripped me out. The next things were actually around the time I decided to start doing paranormal time, because I started doing paranormal story time when I lived there, so that was the very first time. And I would be up late at night, like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, watching videos or taking notes of my past memories of what I was going to do, planning this stuff. So right when I began to actually plan doing paranormal story time, and I'd be awake and DJ would be asleep right next to me, I would start hearing noises randomly. And I was like, what the hell? But I assumed it was my cats, because if you don't know, we have 2 Siamese cats, and they'd be up late at night playing in the living room, because they did not sleep in the room with us. We didn't allow them to. We had them sleep in the living room as such. And so, like, the very first or second day that I actually started to plan this stuff and started watching videos on paranormal story time and just planning my whole routine out or whatever, I began to hear noises. So I assumed it was my darn cats, and I would give it a second before I would hear the noise continue the first night that I started to hear the noises. And once I did, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna run and I'm gonna go catch those cats. So I heard the noises again, so I got up out of my bed and I went out the door and I ran into the living room to catch them sound asleep. Both of them on the couches. They were completely asleep. And I was like, yeah, I was not expecting this. Okay, so I went back into the room and I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the room and then this happened again, maybe a couple days later or a week later, 2 weeks later. I don't know. It was all very gradual. I don't know. So this next night that I was planning my paranormal story time, it's so weird because every time I would plan this or watch a video or whatever, and it wasn't in my mind. Trust me, you guys are probably like, this chick crazy. No, I try to be as rational about these things as I can. So another night, I was up at 1 in the morning, and I heard noises again. And I really wanted to catch my cat. I really did. I was really hoping it was them. And I heard the noises, but I wasn't convinced enough to get up and go check until I heard the dishes move. And I was like, oh no, they're on the countertop, they're whatever, because they usually could not get on the countertop because it was blocked off for them to do that. So I quickly got up and went into the living room, and what do you know? They are both asleep on the couch. At one point, DJ and one of our friends had actually said, yeah, we were hearing footsteps outside or something like that. And I was like, well, maybe it's just the leaves ruffling, because there was a lot of trees around us and stuff like that. And I don't know, they were both convinced they heard footsteps. And I did not start to hear those footsteps until a couple weeks after they told me, and I was like, oh, that's what you mean. It was actually during the day, a whole day while I was alone, and I'd be in the room, laying down. I remember it was a really lazy day, so I was just laying in there, doing whatever, and I would hear the footsteps right in front of where our door was, and our window was cornered with the door, so in front of that I heard footsteps, and I always ran to the window to go see, and there was nothing there. We assumed maybe it was the neighborhood cats, but I never saw a cat during those times of hearing those footsteps, and I was like, wow, could cats really make that hard of a noise on, just, it wasn't sand, but it was what do you call it, that fake sand that you put over a tarp in the ground. Well, it was like that, and you could hear hard footsteps, and that was every once in a while. Honestly, you could hear that very clearly. Weeks after I had forgot that I would hear noises at night, then DJ began to tell me that he would hear noises at night, and he would hear them through the walls, if the cats were running in between the sofa and the walls in the living room that was right behind our room, and he would get up and check, and that they weren't the cats. And in my head I was just like, I told you. But he did start to hear those noises at night, and they couldn't have been our cats, and it really felt like something, it really sounded like something was just running through, or making noises right behind our wall, and that was really weird. These next experiences, I was super convinced. I was really, really convinced. One time our friends went over, and okay, so I was in the bedroom. I don't know what I was doing. I was just in there, and one of my friends, she came to the room, and she was just talking to me, and we were there chatting, and I was sitting with my back against the wall, and she was right in front of me, sitting down on the bed, and my mirror was right across from her. So I remember her and I conversing, and she had looked towards the mirror, and she shook her head and kind of rubbed her eyes, and I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, oh, nothing. I thought I just saw a face. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you just saw a face? She's like, yeah, I thought I just saw a face in the mirror, but it was probably nothing. And me, I'm a believer, and me knowing all of these experiences that have been occurring in this duplex apartment or whatever, I was pretty sure she had seen something, but she was kind of trying to convince herself she didn't. And I was like, did it look like a man? Because for some reason, when I'm around energies, I can kind of distinguish what the gender is, whether it is a man or is a woman, and usually I'm correct about these things. I've always felt like it was like a man. So I asked her, I was like, was it a man? Did you see like a man's face? And she's like, yeah, it was pretty much like a man. And I was like, oh, I knew it. Now, something I've never experienced before, I don't think I have, is had to do with our electronics. So every time, like, I got addicted to Ghost Adventures, you guys. As much as I love telling paranormal stories, I love watching Ghost Adventures too. I love paranormal things. It's just, it's my thing. And, okay, so every time I would try to start, well, not every time, I mean, further weeks after, like, this didn't start happening right away, but every time I started to try to tell a paranormal story time, or even watch Ghost Adventures, for some reason, our electronics just started messing up. And then it occurred to me, oh, that happens sometimes. I don't know why, but I kind of sensed like whatever was there was very bothered by what I was watching or by what I was doing with Paranormal Storytime. So that leads me to believe, like, I don't really know. I just don't think it was bad, honestly. I think something was just really wanting to be known that it was there. And I don't think it felt comfortable with my telling paranormal stories. Actually, you can see a clip in my, what was it? It was one of my videos where I started to talk about Paranormal Storytime, and I was in my restroom recording, and then my towel, which was safely placed on like a shelf, just drops, and I was like, why do I keep getting interrupted? Now, this is the one that really, really, really got me. Like, I will never be more convinced out of any of these experiences more than this one. Okay, so, our cats, they never in any other place would they act the way they did in this place. They would always be chasing something on the roof of our hallway. Like, they were always scurrying and kind of like looking at something, and when they see bugs, like, we can usually tell, they will hunt them down and they will catch them. But there was never any like flies or anything like in our hallway, and it was always in our hallway and like by our doors to the bedrooms that we had or the restrooms, and they would always be lingering there, kind of just like following something, something they did occasionally. But this time, okay, so Luna and Faye are two different cats. Faye likes to just relax and be near people, so she will sit with me wherever I'm at. And Luna is just a little more skittish than Faye. Faye isn't really skittish. Luna isn't too skittish, but she definitely has that trait like any other cat. So every time you try to grab her, she, for the most part, will just run. She does like being held every so often, but for the most part, she likes being left alone, and she doesn't want to be bothered or picked up. So I was doing something like I usually do. I was sitting at our little kitchen table. I was on one chair, and my cat was sitting on the other chair, accompanying me, Faye, like she does. And Luna was just kind of sitting right behind us on the floor. And then I noticed her like stiffen up. and she got in like her prowl mode. Like, how do you, like, you know, like cats do it when they're like usually like on alert or like about to like go hunt something, or like, you know, she got in that stance. She was like really stiff, and she was not looking like at me, but she was looking a little more to the side of me. And she was just looking a little bit more higher than where I was sitting, so she was looking directly more up, not all the way up, but more, it was weird, it was at an angle, and she was there, and she was a little stiff, and her eyes were locked. And even my cat Faye noticed. Like, Faye looked at her, like, and she even jumped off her chair and went towards Luna, and she was just kind of like looking at her like, hello, like, why are you so paralyzed? And I was just looking at her like, what the hell? So usually if I were to get up and go towards her, she would run, she would take off. But not this time. She literally didn't even acknowledge the fact that I just like stood from my chair right in front of her and went towards her. She's just like locked, staring almost right above me. And I went like this right in front of her face, and she did not even move. And then shortly after, she like slowly, like very slowly went straight forward to what she was looking at, which was weird because I was looking and I was like, there's nothing there, it's just the corner, like it was right in front of the table, there's nothing there, there's nothing flying there. And she just slowly proceeded to go towards what she was looking at. And once she finally got to the exact spot where she was looking, she just kind of like came off of her little daze, and she was looking around like if whatever she had reached or the point where it was at was just not there anymore. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, she saw something. I swear to God, she saw something. I've never seen her do that ever. Like, if it is, it's usually towards like the window at a flying bird or an insect she's chasing. But if it's an insect she's chasing, she'll go directly after it. When she froze and was looking at this specific something, she was just very alarmed. She didn't really know what to do but to slowly creep towards it. It was so weird. And then when she got to that location, she just looked around like if she had no idea where it went. Me and him just kind of came to the conclusion that whatever was in the house was just kind of attached to us or something, or very connected to us, and it kind of felt like it didn't want us to go, and that was kind of strange. Like, of course we don't absolutely know, it's not like we talked to it or anything, but it just kind of like, I don't know, it felt like something was very sad there. And yeah, it was really interesting. And after that, like a week later, we left and we moved out. And like the very last day that I had to go get some stuff there, it just felt so, it was kind of sad. It was kind of depressing. Like, for me, yeah, I loved it there. It was nice for a while, but I was already optimistic about leaving. And so just the atmosphere in there, I just didn't want to go back anymore. It got progressively worse. That was my paranormal story time. You guys know I was going to come back with the paranormal story time. I wasn't going to leave you hanging. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this story and you do enjoy my stories. If you haven't seen any of my other videos that have to do with spiritual, paranormal things, go ahead and go check them out. I hope you guys stick around. If you like this video, go ahead and like it, and if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe. I will try and be back more often. I will set a schedule when I have a schedule to go off of, and yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye! Should I keep that intro or change the song? I don't know. We shall see. Like, I don't even understand how you can hear the train from here. That shit is far. Like, how do you hear it from here? Pufferfish.